Can't jump over there because it's too far. Obviously, one thing you got to think about when you make these games is what is going to make it your game, you know? Where's the challenge? All that kind of good stuff. And we could even up here, like, oh, it's really, really hard to get to. How are you going to get there? That's probably going to need some messing around, obviously, with the sizes. Yeah, anyway, go and save. So we have our sprite 4. We're actually going to rename this player. Player 1 if you needed to, if you're going to make this multiplayer. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Alright, cool. And let us... What is bad boy? Move that. Oh, probably button or something. On the start menu, if I recall. We're going to give this behavior a platform. You'll notice if you click player, the platform behavior has all sorts of options. So you have jump, acceleration, deceleration, max speed. These are all for movement and whatnot. Max fall speed. So if this didn't have this easy to use platform type behavior, we would have to design crazy gravity type of, you know, coding. I was thinking something weird the other day of like having to use variables, and every tick, you know, controls whether, you know, the position of the character, slowly up, slowly down, all that good stuff. Double jump also. Jumps to sustain, like if you want to. I haven't messed with this, but it's probably akin to the princess in Mario 2, because she had a jump that could sustain a while. Kind of a float. Default controls, whether or not this is the default controls of you, what the player, the user who's playing this game, if it's their controls or not. That's what that means. Whether or not the initial state's enabled. So what we're going to do, I'm going to save it, and I think right now nothing's really going to happen. We don't even see the player, so all that good stuff. So you can see, you know, the background objects and all that good stuff. So we're going to close that, and we are going to add some more behaviors. Bound to layout, usually yes. I don't know if we need it for this game. We can add it later. Scroll to is important because that's why we didn't see anything when we just previewed, because if you remember, there's that thing called the view, which is usually parked all the way up here. And so this is what you actually see. And you remember the UI, we didn't design a UI yet, but the UI, the parallax is going to be 0. It's going to be stuck up here, so it's always going to move there. The player's all the way down here. So it's looking here, but the player's down here, so we're SOL. When we enable the scroll to behavior, you'll see automatically. There we go. And by default, it looks like platformer for at least keyboards gives you default controls. So if you hit up, you got to jump. You have a jump. Right, you move right, left, you move left. So we already have kind of a functional game. Whoa. These graphics look kind of weird. Whoa. And all the way at the top. And so that's pretty easy. So we'd probably want to scale this down a little bit. We can make everything a lot smaller. Excuse me. Oh, the secret's supposed to be over here. So if we were bound to layout, I wouldn't be able to go left like that. So I'll show you that. Okay. Ooh, stuck, can't go anywhere. And I'm actually below now. And my jumping and all that good stuff is disabled even. Everything's disabled because technically I'm not on a platform. So I would be in a continuous state of free fall. However, I'm bound to layout, so I have nowhere to go. So it's like the gravity for free falling is constantly engaged and you can't do anything about it. So one thing you do, let's go ahead and let's make that a death scenario. There's a couple different ways you could do this. I'm going to show you the nooblet way that I learned, basically, because I was just messing around with this. I was like, let's try it out. Let me make something. The alternative way to do this is, oh, I didn't want to do that. Actually, we should make this like a red, because it's a kill. You can make it yellow too. And I am on the, I'm on the UI layer right now. It's like a game layer. Make sure he's on the game layer. Beep. Alternatively, what you could do for this is, if player falls below X coordinate or something like that, or no, Y coordinate, actually it'd be greater than Y coordinate, because the Y coordinate starts with 0 up here and it goes all the way down to whatever. You can see that through this bad boy. That's one way to see that. You can see it starts 1 all the way down, 0 all the way down. So you can say player is greater than X, greater than Y coordinate, equals destroy, go to end screen, equals destroy, restart layout, that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you the newbie way that I first learned it. Made a sprite, elongated it. We'll just call this death sprite, because that sounds awesome. And we're going to say, okay, player on collision with the death sprite. Go ahead and restart the layout. Save it, of course. And let's see what we have here. Ooh, I made it. Nice. Yeah. Oh, I died. Restart layout. Oh, I died. Restart layout. Died. Nothing happens over here because this isn't death, but it's still bound to layout, so you can't go anywhere. Oh, I'm going nowhere. So I might keep that around. We'll go ahead and keep that around as the very start of difficulty, if you will, because these obviously these platforms have no difficulty. The easiest thing to make these difficult would be probably to add movement, and that's pretty easy. Let's go ahead and get into that. Might as well. What I'm going to do, let's go ahead so we can manipulate a new one. Let's go over here and clone it. And so now you see I select it, nothing, because there's not one available anywhere. So I'm going to drag it. I'm on the game layer, so it's awesome. And let's make this one right here. Let's see how this works out. And since I did clone this, it does carry over the behavior of a solid, which is great. I'm going to add another behavior. Is it in here? The sine behavior. So the sine behavior is math, jargon, all that good stuff. Sines and all this good stuff for dealing with angles, wavelengths, trigonometry, geometry, all this good stuff is what the sine function can do. And it uses it in combination with things like size and movement and stuff like that to create kind of a, well, I mean, you look at the sine, it's kind of an even type of back and forth. I don't explain things well, but you'll see it. I haven't had math in so long. Okay. So added the sine behavior, and you'll see it over here. It has its own options, properties, whether or not it's active on start, the movement types, and this is what I was talking about. So the sine is wavelengths and all that good stuff. So for instance, horizontal, it'll go left a certain amount of time, or degrees, or coordinate, and then it'll switch and go right the same coordinates, because it's an equal time type of wavelength. Same thing with vertical, kind of the same thing with size, width, height, angle, opacity. You could use, okay, so we used fade, for example. We used the fade behavior to manipulate our loading screen, or yeah, basically